We find ourselves in unfamiliar territory all of a sudden where we don't have a pre-engineered project waiting in the file to activate if the FAA were to call. For 10 years we've been very aggressive. If you notice the charts I showed the Board of Supervisors when we had no grant work in 2001-2, and then we became very aggressive in pre-funding grants to have grants in the queue, and we've been on that path for 8 years. All of a sudden, all of our pre-engineered grants, we've always seen one or two ahead, or we don't have anything in the cabinet. And the next project in the queue is to redo 422 and light it. Totally tear it up, redo it. It's waves. It's bad shape.
Grass growing.
Yep. And so that's in the queue. We would like to do the advanced engineering. The engineering total on that to all the various sub-elements for lighting, soils, and structure, $231,385, of which it's the next project in the queue. 90% of that will be recoverable under the grant. I'm with David McBride, Center Director at NASA, to speak at a conference in Sweden. And like I briefed the board at my last board meeting, that I'm going to combine a next European swing to include Switzerland, France, Belgium, to go and visit potential clients with flight test projects in concert with a need to be there. So I've booked those 3 stops. I'll make an overnight whistle stop at Coruna and fly home. Erica's found me a reasonable round-trip ticket, but they no longer need Dick on this trip, and they would like to book him for a TED conference in the spring, and I made that decision. It just adds cost, but I just want to get the benefit of the exposure to the airport, and I think we ought to reconsider this and sponsor Mr. Rutan to go back, represent the district in the spring at a TED conference. Those can easily get 1 billion viewers worldwide.
Roseman, at our meeting announced they issued their last will serve letter. They won't issue any more will serve letters. Steve Perez told us at the last meeting that they're shutting down. He didn't go into detail, but I was sort of shocked that he didn't respond to that.
In talking to my readers and viewers around the valley, they're a little bit confused about the adjudication, allocation, what is happening. Is the water going to stay the same? Is it going to be less? So on and so. Everybody goes to Sacramento and they don't know what happened. So in brief, could you explain?
The adjudication is addressing the groundwater basin and how much water we have locally. The State Water Project is going to be the supplemental supply that you would bring into the basin. So the judge is saying we've been probably taking too much water out of the groundwater basin. He's going to put some kind of constraint on that. And we'll have to rely more heavily on imported water from the State Water Project.
Sure. But what I'm hearing is nobody really should panic at this point. There seems to be plenty of water.
You know, I think with water supplies and development, everybody wants to look long term, and they look down the road a little ways, and I think it's wise to do that. There's no immediate crisis, but as a water planner and, you know, concerned about future development of the Antelope Valley, we need to look down the road a little way. I think there's some challenges we have, but I think we can address them. Right now, the State Water Project figures that their long-term reliability is 60%. So Antelope Valley East Kern has an allocation of 141,400. We haven't really come close to utilizing all of that, so we have some buffer. But the future, we need to be proactive about the future supplies.
Last week, Village scored twice on us. And the guys fought through and then scored. Village scored again, then we scored to keep it close at halftime. My previous 2 seasons here, they scored once on us and we folded. So that's a great improvement. I mean, we have a lot more morale. They have a lot more belief in themselves and what they can do. So, and we have a lot more fight. They don't give up right away.
Well, that's good. That's improvement. Now, the JV though, just not enough.
Just not enough bodies. You know, we had 13 guys on the roster. 2 were not eligible because of grades. They were hoping to become eligible this week. Because this is the end of the quarter for next week for KV. You know, last week against Village, they had 3 guys get injured. Nothing super serious, but one person decided to go because because of his knee. Well, that leaves me 10 guys, so really can't play with 10 guys, and I don't have the bodies to send down from varsity to supplement that team. So we just had to fold them up and pull up all the guys that got physicals to play varsity football, which has been everybody except for 3 people.
How do you find the team this year as compared to other years?
Way better this year. We play as a team this year. I think we're moving up.
Now, Dominic, how's the season going for you so far?
It's going very well, actually. Like, you know, it's not going bad at all.
How do you compare the team this year with past years?
The dedication this year has been way more devoted and just way more participation and willingness to come out and work as hard as possible to win this year.
To Mr. Taylor and the Board of Trustees. Dan, would you come on up?
Sure.
On behalf of the Board of Trustees for your ongoing and tireless efforts helping us accomplish the district's standards of excellence, we would like to wish you. Thank you very much.
Dan has brought a number of accomplishments to our district in which he can take great pride. He was a key person in setting up a networked computer lab at Tropico. He has brought successful programs to our school, including Accelerated Reader and IXL Math. His hard work has paid off with outstanding STAR test scores by his students. Dan has over 30 computers in his classroom, most of which he purchased with his own money or arranged to have donated. If you ask him what is most challenging about being a teacher, his response is fitting 35 children in his room. Notice he doesn't say having 35 students, just fitting them in the room is a nightmare. The one topic he would like the board and administration to consider in future decisions is, not surprisingly, technology.
First of all, if you see the beautiful wall, that's from Tropico. Very nice. Clap for the kids. I'm going to introduce Mrs. Canham. She has a dance program. She brought us a few of the students to kind of show off a little bit of what they do.
These are 16 of my, I think I'm up to 36 sixth graders right now. And we take up to 2 teams to competition, which is 11 couples. And they compete, the sixth graders will compete in salsa, rumba, East Coast swing, tango, and the foxtrot.
Get ready to do it. Now remember, follow my instructions and most important, stop moving your body. When I say the word freeze, yo, freeze.
First you step to the left, step to the right, throw your hands in the air, try to reach the sky. Front to back, swinging side to side. Now throw your hands in the air, try to reach the sky. First you step to the left, step to the right. Throw your hands in the air, try to reach the sky.
Well, I found it very interesting today, your talk here at Roseman Rotary about professional fundraising. And not everybody can come to the Rotary meeting today, so could you summarize in 20 seconds or less basically your viewpoint of national big-time fundraising?
National big-time fundraising is fairly expensive, and only roughly 46% going back to local charities. So you may want to consider donating to local charities such as the Rotary, which gives 103% back.
Really? 103%?
103%.
So how do they do that? They have an investment fund, or?
I hear what happens is they solicit the money and then they keep it for 3 years, and they take the money plus the earnings and spend it on an appropriate cause.
And you as a CPA preparing people's taxes can then make that a charitable donation.
Yes.
A larger Lightning award. Just finished machining the top side and doing the engraving. And pretty quick here, we'll be able to flip this over and finish up the bottom, and then we'll be making the lightning bolts to set in this little anti-rotation slot. Basically, you have to set up the machines, like the height of the tool has to be set, the height of the fixture has got to be set, each one. 0 for the fixture, basic things like that.
I see.
And then you can run the program.
Why don't you explain that slot to me again? And
well, we put this in just to hopefully add some. We'll give you a better backdrop here.
Yeah.
Add stability to the
lightning bolt.
To the lightning bolt, because it's going to be sticking up about 7 inches, so it's going to be about like yay.
Sure.
And we don't want it to rock and be flimsy.
Go! Number 20, Jordan Trejo has an impressive run down the field, scoring his first touchdown of the night.